For the first time in years, Demise, the King of Armageddon, has a regional top. Make sure you guys smash the ever-living crap out of that subscribe button so you guys don't miss out more awesome content. Now, this is such a crazy thing to see because for this event, Demise, the King of Armageddon, with a little bit of help from Mitsurugi and at least some of the tools that it has, actually shook things up and got second place out of a regional. And I think that is so interesting to think about, that we have gotten far enough that we can use these ritual toolbox pieces to be able to access, any sort of ritual monster that we need to be able to explore things. And that's truly a wonderful experience. And I think that was what I was kind of wanting to see being rejuvenated within the game. Now, the rest of your top cut, we had two Malice decks, which is not all that surprising. Malice still kind of remains one of the big, scary challengers within the meta, but also you technically do have two Mitsurugi builds, which kind of do some different little things. I think you're going to be kind of interested just to see, these ideas that these Mitsu players are kind of bringing to the table, because Demise is a crazy one. We did have access to a Draco Tail deck, which is not that surprising. Draco Tail continues to be one of the fun decks. We also had Mitsurugi Yummy, which, hey, if you're not expecting Mitsurugi Yummy to be one of these, shocking challengers in the background, well, it will be. It does wonderfully. We also had Rizel, and surprisingly enough, we had a Memento deck kind of smashing around out here, which I think I'm more shocked to see Memento actually coming out and showcasing that it's still a real challenger. So, wow, let's pass on over to those deck lists. Of course, starting off here, Malice ended up being the real challenger out of this event. And of course, most of these Malice lists have got the same idea. They're going to be bringing in Bystials in the main deck because these Bystials are just going to be free fodder. You got to use these big, strong monsters to basically be able to facilitate getting combo set up and go. And of course, these builds kind of have to rely on Super Poly to kind of get set up, or at least to board break in the current day and age, because you don't have access to Splash Mage. You don't get those free things. I do see that we are playing double Lingaribo down here. We are also playing Trigate Wizard. You get extra battle damage, 2 or more. You can target a card on the field and banish it, or you get the negate, which I don't know who called up Trigate Wizard in Malice of all things, but there appear to be some spicy little tech choices within this regional. Now, that brings me to Demise, the King of Armageddon. Hilariously enough, we are using the Turning of the World here. So this card can ritual summon any of the Ruin or Demise from the hand or deck, and you must also tribute ritual monsters from your hand whose total levels equal or exceed the level of the ritual monster that you train to ritual summon. Now, you can only activate one of these once per turn. Now, the fact that this is on a quick play is a little bit devastating. Sorry, I do feel kind of bad about that, but you're just going to be able to roll this out, and then you can pay, the 2K on your turn. But also, this is a quick play, so you have to tribute ritual monsters from your hand, not from your field. So you can actually, these nice little Mitsu cards that might be floating around in your hand, you can actually use the Ame here as tribute fodder to be able to rotate into this. This is ingenious, and I love everything about it. Also, Dogmatica package to search into it as well. Next up, we have Draco Tail. Now, I do see we are playing Frixel. Of course, you play this as one of. We have been playing the Fallen and the Virtuous. This has turned into a very normal thing at this stage, all right? Like, the Fallen and the Virtuous is just going to be getting you so much value, because getting the dump, getting the pivot, all of this, playing one of each of the traps is all solid. 2 Brand Infusion with the 1 Fallen of Albaz within the main deck is fine. The big question comes down to, how many copies of Fenrir do I want to build into the deck? I think you're fine with any number of these. As long as you've got access into a Fenrir, I think you're usually going to be pretty okay with this. We do have a Magna Hut in the main, side decking the extra 2 Bestials if we need to have the opportunity to pivot into either of them if need be. But I think this is the standard approach to the meta. Next up here, Yummy Mitsurugi. Now, this deck doesn't get too exciting when you kind of look at, you know, the tools you've got going for it. Because, well, I mean, one of each of the names is fine. It's all because you extend out the combo line if you want to play, you know, Futsu. If you're choosing not to play Futsu, then you just cut this garbage and you just play the Saji. All right. It just depends on how the build's going to go. Now, I do see we are side decking a Nib. We also have the cross out in the main deck. It is kind of interesting to me to see that we've returned back to seeing cross out Designator kind of being this little choice, you know what I'm saying? I believe it's got to do with like Call by the Grave and you getting hand trapped. You feel really awful with certain interactions just ruining your day. So you don't really want to deal with that. You just want to have the best results, and having the extra copy to cancel out something devastating is going to be fine. Wow, probably one of the most basic Malice lists that we've seen, but I do see that we are cramming this into the deck. The fact that we can actually play the Dimensional Fissure in this deck, I think is very refreshing and very important. We don't tend to see enough of Di-Fi being this little floodgate card that can just kind of run things through the ground, but that's not the point. The reason why you need this is it also helps you out. You know, your Malice cards are suddenly going to be stacking up on multiple triggers, and you're going to be able to stack up all of this free advantage, also going with one of each of the traps. Guys, remember, back in the day, these cards were deemed bad. You should only play 2 of them. And then, of course, we are side decking a DD Crow. Love the fact that you just have access to one single Crow. And you know what? Mission accomplished, I suppose. Next up here, we have Onomatomat Rizal. And, of course, 777 Tachyon to go with it, right? Because, you know, this is just the grand scaling here of what you want to be seeing. And, of course, we also have to bring in the Harpy's Featherstorm here, because, you know, hey, being able to slot in a single Castell into my deck literally ensures that I'm going to get the free little blow over here, and your opponent's not going to be able to really do anything. And it feels really, really bad for the opponent. Standard, I guess it is not standard to play the extra Mall Charming. I do believe that this is just kind of a result that they chose to throw in. It's like, hey, you know, if I do need to have this, it'll be fine. Attack talents and the one in the main deck, side decking the additional thrust if need be. Yeah, I feel like this deck is pretty figured out now. We also got Magiki? What? Okay, well, first of all, we have to... why are we playing this? Does this do something else? You can only use each of the following: Gear Glass, or when your opponent activates an effect of a monster with the same attribute as a monster in your graveyard. If at least 2 attributes of that monster were used for this card's ritual summon, you can negate that activation when you destroy that card. Huh. This is, I guess, this also is a level 8. So, where's the good card? Yes, there's the Ashlon U1000. And of course, I do see we can River Stormer into this. That's, interesting. I didn't expect to see this seeing play, but interesting to say the least. And then we got Memento for you. Now, I see that Memento got the memo here of, you know, calling up the Fallen and the Virtuous here, you know, slap this on into the deck, be able to generate, you know, that free advantage you want, controlling the opponent, searching for an extra copy, but we're also playing the Radiant Typhoon Visions in here as well. Oh, boy. There is a lot to kind of think about with this list, honestly, at least in terms of the little extra bits and whistles. But board breakers galore in here, and extra advantage, side decking, extra board breakers. So what do you guys think? Please leave a comment down below, tell me what you guys think, and I'll see your beautiful faces back here later in the day, guys. Patrons, thank you.
Thank you so much for watching. Check out these other videos.